welcome to State of Business on our television. I'm Ashing Sanivir Singh. Let's have a look at the headlines for today. The government officially announces that the parliament will be dissolved during the first week of March. Country's national career service for tourists is not satisfactory, says former Foreign Secretary. News in detail. Information and Communication Technology State Minister Lakshman Abewardhana states that the parliament will be definitely dissolved on any day between March 2nd and March 6th. Moreover, addressing the weekly media briefing at the Media Ministry premises this morning, State Minister Abewardhana also noted that a total of 5,217 metric tons of paddy have been purchased from this year's January 29th to February 16th under the government's mechanism of purchasing paddy directly from the farmers. The government introduced a certified price for paddy during the period of 2019 to 2020 period. Accordingly, Information and Communication Technology State Minister Lakshman Abewardhana said that the government's mechanism of purchasing paddy directly from the farmers have already become successful. The State Minister gave a detailed account on the amount of paddy that has been purchased during the past few days. Significantly higher amount of paddy has been so far purchased from the areas in the northern and eastern provinces. Up until February 16, the highest amount of paddy has been collected from Batiklo, amounting to 1,878.2 metric tons of paddy. 809.2 metric tons of paddy have been purchased from Ampara, while nearly 783 metric tons of paddy have been bought from Mana. State Minister added that purchasing paddy from Polonnaruwa will be started this week. State Minister added that the government has already spent nearly 261 million rupees for this purpose of buying paddy directly from the farmers. The adjourned debate on the forensic audit report on the issuance of treasury bonds by the Central Bank of Sri Lanka commenced today afternoon, and it will go till tomorrow. The proposal to debate on the forensic audit report was tabled before the House by the JVP leader Anurukumara Dissanayake. The forensic audits commissioned by the central bank include the issuance of treasury bonds during the period from 1st January 2002 to 28th February 2015. Meanwhile, the Committee on Public Accounts report on 844 institutions of state, provincial councils and local government for the year 2018 was tabled in Parliament today by its chairman and State Minister Lasantha Alagiyawanna. That report consists of over 800 pages. Public accounting systems, financial control and performance of government institutions are annually evaluated by a computer networking system, and the report that was prepared accordingly was tabled by the chairman. According to the computer networking system, in evaluating the state, provincial councils and local government institutions functioning under the direction of the Committee on Public Accounts, nearly 110 organizations which have achieved a high performance will be presented with awards at the parliamentary complex under the patronage of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa on the 28th of February 2020. In order to bolster the bilateral relations between both countries, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa will be meeting with the Japanese Premier Shinzo Abe during his visit to the global conference, The Future of Asia, which will be held in Tokyo on May 28th and 29th. Accordingly, meeting the President Gotabaya Rajapaksa at the Presidential Secretariat yesterday, Japanese Ambassador Akira Sugiyama said that the Japanese government will ensure that President Gotabaya Rajapaksa's scheduled visit to Japan will be successful and productive. The projects that are in the pipeline, such as the digitalizing of national television, the Colombo Port East Terminal and the proposed LNG projects were also discussed by the both parties yesterday. Subsequently, the two-day global conference, The Future of Asia, that the President will be visiting, will see government leaders, business executives and academics from the Asia-Pacific region who will share their visions for a better region, and President Gotabaya Rajapaksa would be one of the first leaders from the South Asia to bring a fresh insight to this conference. Meanwhile, on the sidelines of the conference, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa will meet Prime Minister Shinzo Abe to discuss on bilateral issues. Moving on, the preliminary report of the four-member committee appointed to review the proposed Millennium Challenge Cooperation Compact was handed over to the President Gotabaya Rajapaksa at the Presidential Secretariat yesterday. The committee collected information by reviewing relevant documents, conducting interviews with different individuals and participating at seminars. The final report on MCC is expected to be completed within 4 months. During a discussion with the members of the Inter-Ministerial Task Force on Industries and Entrepreneur Development held at the Presidential Secretariat yesterday, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa instructed officials to take measures to uplift local industries and encourage investors by removing obstructions. Various industrialists and manufacturers engaged in motor vehicle assembling, metal, footwear and leather, apparel, medicines, spices, electrical equipment, timber and cosmetics were present at the meeting. The representatives and investors expressed their concerns on tax and issues they face at the custom as well as environmental obligations. Stay tuned for more news after this short break. Welcome back after the break. Former Foreign Secretary and known diplomat Dr. Palitha Kohana says that although tourism is the future of the country, the government as well as the authorities have not given due attention on it. Speaking to the Art Television in Sigiriya, Dr. Kohana recently questioned why Sri Lankan Airlines can't engage in a promotional campaign of local tourism while having all the facilities for such an endeavour.
The tourism sector is the future of this country. We have tea, but we are finding it increasingly difficult to compete with other trade producers because our labor costs are high. We will have the same problem with our garments industry because of our labor costs. We will have to compete with low-cost countries like Bangladesh, Cambodia, Laos, etc. And in that competition, I do not think we are going to win. So we have to look for an alternative. The government has already said that it will focus on tourism. It plans to develop tourism as a $10 billion industry. Plans are one thing, dreams are one thing, but reality is another thing. I think it's very important to develop tourism right from the time that a visitor gets onto a Sri Lankan airplane, comes through customs and immigration, and comes out. We have problems at every point. Sri Lankan Airlines, I traveled Sri Lankan Airlines business class only about a week ago. This is the one airline in the world which does not have a video of Sri Lanka's attractions.
Former Foreign Secretary and known diplomat Dr. Palitha Kohana also says that tourism industry needs to be managed, developed and promoted systematically as some regional countries are very close to grab the hospitality #1 label from Sri Lanka.
We need to develop our attitudes, our ideas within the country and implement it. And it can be done very quickly because training is not that difficult. Encourage people to think that this is what is going to make our livelihood, of the livelihood of our children. So get them involved in this and make it a national endeavor, not just the government issuing directives and a few people making money out. Tourism is going to be the future of this country and we need to manage it and develop it from the time a tourist gets onto the plane, comes into the country and then tours the country. And we tend to go to all these big shows around the world. We promote, but what's the use of promoting if you cannot provide the service that a tourist deserves? And I've been to officially and unofficially to dozens and dozens of countries. I find that in many of these places, the hospitality is much superior to what we offer our tourists. So there's a lot to learn, and there's a lot to develop ourselves.
The central bank report shows that the trade deficit has widened in last December to $784 million from $701 million in December 2018, led by a decline in exports and a growth in imports. Meanwhile, the report further highlights that the trade deficit contracted by $2,346 million in 2019, closing the year at $7.9 million. Accordingly, in terms of the trade, the ratio of the price of exports to the price of imports deteriorated by 2.9% year-on-year basis in December 2019 as export prices declined at a faster pace than the decline in import prices. Cumulatively, the terms of trade deteriorated by 1.5% during 2019 in comparison to 2018. Pertaining to the tourism in the country, monthly tourist arrivals after the Easter Sunday attacks recovered notably and recorded only a modest decline on a year-on-year basis in last December. During the month of December, 241,663 tourists arrived in the country, recording a year-on-year decline of 4.5% compared to the drop of 9.5% in November and 22.5% in October 2019. Tourist arrivals from Russia, Canada and the United States improved in December 2019, while arrivals from key destinations such as France, Germany, Maldives and the United Kingdom declined. Tourist arrivals were recorded at 1.9 million in 2019, a decline of 18% compared to 2.3 million arrivals in 2018. The report also suggests that the tourism sector could suffer a further setback in the period ahead following the outbreak of the new coronavirus that originated in China and spread to several other countries. Meanwhile, workers' remittances recorded a growth of 13.8% in December 2019 year-on-year, amounting to $665 million. But on a cumulative basis, workers' remittances recorded a decline of 4.3%, amounting to $6,717 million in 2019 compared to $7,015 million in 2018. One of the leading stockbrokers in the country, JB Securities, says that the country's vehicle registrations picked up in January this year in comparison to last December in most categories. Total car registrations recorded 2,536 units in January, up from 2,057 units in December 2019, but down from 3,147 units 12 months ago. The reports show that new car registrations recorded 349 units in January, up from 244 units in December, but down from 429 units 12 months ago. SUV registrations recorded 787 units in January, which is a 21% up from 650 units recorded the previous month and 735 units 12 months ago. Small crossovers accounted for 727 units. Toyota was the segment leader with a 45.4% share, followed by Honda with a 16% share. Van registrations recorded 911 units in January, significantly up from 619 units the previous month and 12 months ago. Suzuki was the segment leader with a 51.6% share, followed by Nissan with 17.9%. The motorcycle category recorded 8,206 units in January, 30% higher than 6,375 units recorded the previous month, but down from 9,824 units recorded 12 months ago. Bajaj is the category leader with a 36.8% share, followed by Yamaha with a 30.3% share. Stay tuned for stock updates after this short break. Welcome back after the break. Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a positive note today. The all-share price index gained 16.74 points to close at 5,831.01, and the S&P SL 20 gained 14.81 points to close at 2,783.66. The turnover was 431 million rupees and over 17 million shares were traded. Up next are Forex rates. With that, we will wrap up today's news. Do not forget to send us your views, comments and ideas via our email address and our hotline. Also log into our Facebook page to be alert on the latest updates. Join us tomorrow with State of Business at the same time. Until then, take care.